Hey, aloha, and welcome to the Friday Marketing Jam Session. I am one of your hosts, Tom Gaddis. Our other host, Nick Ponte, on the call as well. Today, we have a great live show lined up for you. We've got a special guest. We're going to be talking about how to get re-energized, right? How to get re-inspired, put your courses, strategies, and plans into action today. We talked a little bit about this last week, but I'm really glad that we're kind of making it more of a focus this week, because last week it just sort of came up. But I think this is so important coming into this time of the year, Nick, because we just started freaking March. We're 3 months into the year, right? Like, you remember January when you're like, you're all fired up. You got all these new things you want to do. And you're like, we're just going to get it. And then life happens. Yeah. Life gets lifey and stuff happens, right? To everybody, no matter where you're at in your business. And so it is definitely a challenge to stay energized. So I'm excited. We're going to talk about that. So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to cue up the intro, grab a drink. If you don't have one, I have a nice Diet Dr. Pepper here. And we will see you back here in one momento.
It's now time. The moment you've been waiting for. Get ready for the fastest 60 minutes of marketing strategies and tactics to build your remote empire from anywhere in the world. After 167 agonizing hours, they've finally returned. From the sun-soaked Sin City and the sandy shores of Maui, Hawaii, now back for a brand new Aloha Marketing Jam Session. It's your hosts, the Offline Sharks and Remote Millionaires, Tom Gaddis and Nick Ponte.
Oh, listen to that crowd. Listen to that. Woo. And I don't know who does the sound effects and runs that during this live show, but they are pretty sharp.
They're out of control, man. Ooh.
All right. You like the, let's see, what do you like? Feeding the Ducks, right?
Feeding the Ducks is the
there
background.
There we go. That's
background
the song.
soundtrack.
We'll get that going. Hey, how's everybody doing out there? Welcome. Let's take a look at the chat and see who is joining us today. I see Barbara Golding, Bruce Roget. Bruce, how crazy was it that it snowed so hard here the other day? Like, I was at the gym and like I turned around, looked out the window, and it was like a freaking blizzard. Like the snowflakes were huge. It was insane. Randy Bett, what's up? Chris, I see Michael Marquez. I see some Facebook users. If you are a Facebook user, you can just grant StreamYard permission, and then we'll be able to see your name.
And they'll just steal all your information. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Norm Thomas. Maddie. What's up, Maddie?
Sometimes I at first when I saw Maddie's name, I was like, oh, it's Maddie. Madeline. Yeah. I don't recognize Madeline.
Yeah, Maddie is, some of you may have talked to Maddie. She's one of our ambassadors at Offline Sharks and Remote Millionaires. So she spends a lot of time calling people up, making sure they got their access when they buy products and things like that, and just seeing if we can point them in the right direction of things to help them out. So good to see you, Maddie. I see Jules, Donna.
Jules is Dorn, actually.
Oh, that's right.
Don't tell.
Oh, that's right. Because Jules is back because Dorn got banned. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Mm-hmm. Let's see who else is in here. Bruce said, I moved here to get away from the snow in Denver. Yep. Well, it followed you. It didn't last though. It was like you looked outside, Nick, it was like a blizzard. And then 45 minutes later, it was bright and sunny. It was, and nothing on the ground. But the mountains were just like blanketed, like all around the valley. They were just like completely white, which is the first time I'd ever seen that. Oh, look at that. Patty says, great shirt, Nick.
Thank you. This is a original Offline Sharks. You know who made this? Paul James made this for me.
Oh, nice.
This is a one of a kind right here.
Wow.
You know, it's been wild here too. Like one of our account coordinators at the agency, I just saw some dialogue going back and forth amongst the team, and our project manager was like, hey, did you get a hold of this client? We had some questions. And she was like, the account coordinator was like, Curry is our other account coordinator. She was like, actually, I just got power. I have literally not been able to get on the internet for a few hours. Like, there's been crazy windstorms and a bunch of trees fell down, and she's on the Big Island. And it's been crazy windy here too. I mean, it's been out of control. The weather thing has been crazy.
Yeah. I see Andy Makar in the house. What's up, Andy? I'm actually going to see Andy here soon. He's coming to Vegas to go to Magic Live. We're going to hang out together, do some card tricks for each other. It'll be fun. What's up, Andy?
Nice.
I see Michael. Yeah, well, it's awesome when I saw this topic for the live show today. And I don't want to spend too much time because we got a guest. We want to get them out, all that stuff. But it was interesting because this morning when I went to the gym, the workout today was this thing called, I don't know, they pronounce it Valor, but I think it's Valor. Anyway, it's like, it is brutal. Okay, Nick, there's only 6 stations, right? There's only 6 stations and you have 2 exercises in each station and you have a target. So like, one of the exercises today was, I forget what you call these, shoulder presses, right? Shoulder presses. So the target was 150, right? And so you partner up and you basically, the other exercise was lunges. So you would do shoulder presses and then you would do lunges. And so every station is just 5.5 minutes of work. So you're trying to hit those targets between you and your partner. So like you do 25, they do 25. The way they actually did it today though was we did a minute of each exercise. So like I do just a minute of shoulder presses and then immediately put the bar over your neck and do a minute of reverse lunges. And like you just go from station to like 5.5 minutes of that. And it is like freaking brutal. And I've only done it one other time because they did it on Veterans Day and it about killed me. Like I was like, oh my God. But today, because we've been talking about this stuff about like mental mindset, and I did a training with the Remote Millionaires, where I was talking about developing mental toughness. And I've just a lot of things have come across my desk recently, reminding me about how to do these things, how to stay energized, how to get inspired, how to get focused, and work through this stuff. And so today, like when the going got tough, I was able to put some of those things into practice and do really, like, I felt like I had a really strong performance in the workout, you know? And, but what's interesting is all of that stuff applies to business as well, because, you know, I was just reading something the other day about, you know, when you're feeling stuck, you know, when you're feeling like you can't get moving, one thing to help break you out of that is to do something extra challenging for yourself. Like to just randomly, and the guy that I was reading, he actually lives here in Vegas, but he was at the Go Ruck headquarters. And while he was there, just out of the blue, they were like, here's a 100-pound ruck, let's do a mile. And he was like talking about how the mental part of that and the challenge of it. And so there's that. And then there's, of course, the strategies of like, you know, and I talked about these kind of on our RM call. When I'm not feeling energized, when I'm not feeling inspired, like what do I do? Well, you know, I really focus in on my morning routine and doing some breath work. That's what I've been doing lately, like some breath work with a breathing app. Spending some time visualizing where I want to go, like what I want to do, you know. And then like the big part is like just taking some action, like just doing something, even if it's teeny tiny, to start the process, right? And then of course, you know, like that inner talk, you know, affirmations and things like that. So, you know, for me, all of that stuff, you know, applies to business and to even what I was doing this morning. Because, you know, when the going got tough, I started thinking like, man, you know, pool weather's coming up here pretty soon. Like I want to be in the, backyard with the shirt off and Miranda going, hey, that's my husband, you know? So like imagining where I wanted to be, right? Like talking about, look, you know, reminding myself that if this stuff were easy, everyone would do it, right?
True.
Like if it were easy, everyone would be doing this stuff.
Pool
so
weather's coming up.
Yeah, full weather's coming up. It's not supposed to be easy, right? It's not supposed to be easy. And, you know, just reminding myself, like getting back focused in on, and we talk about this a lot, right? Like And I know it sounds kind of cliche about just understanding your whys and where you want to go and what you want to do and all that stuff. So, for me, like all of that stuff is important. And then I think the final piece of all of this is when you realize you've hit that situation, right? When you realize that something that you wanted to do has slid by the wayside, right? And you're like, why did I ever stop doing that? Like, why did I stop? Like, I know that's a good thing. Why did I stop doing it? The most important thing is to just cut yourself a break and be like, hey man, it went by the wayside. Let's just pick up and start moving forward again. Right. What's your thoughts on that? How do you handle that kind of stuff?
Man, it's a good question. And it takes work. I feel like I'm constantly burying myself in different things, whether it's, in the agency or Offline Sharks or Remote Millionaires or real estate or whatever, or just life. And it can feel, the overwhelm at times, especially when it's a struggle, can be a lot. One of the first things that I do, and I forgot who I heard this from, I think it was James Cameron, the director. He said, whenever he feels this way, the first thing he does is he cleans off his entire desk.
Yeah.
It off. And it's so true, because usually when I'm in that mode, my desk looks like shit. There's stuff everywhere. There's just like, right now I'm saying I'm a 5 out of, with 10 being like, perfect, immaculate. There's like a keyboard, a mouse, and a glass of water. We're at about a 5 right now. We're definitely at about a 5. So, one of the things that can do is, at least for me, is the same, as you kind of mentioned, right? It's kind of like a foot in the door strategy.
Almost like a mental reset, right?
Yeah.
But
it's like a small thing just to get going, to get reinvigorated and get the energy going and get recalibrated. And that is a really important thing, So I clean off the desk and then I'll make the lists. And that's really how I get back into the mode. And I try not to think about everything on the list once I have it built. I just think of what's first and then what's next.
One foot in front of the other. Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because one of the things I did this morning was I took care of something here around the house that I've just been putting off. Because I find that my business life and my personal lives are very intertwined. And if I'm putting things off in my personal life, things that I know I should have done or should be doing, it directly affects my business life. And so sometimes if I'm feeling that kind of, hitting that wall in my business life, I'll look at my personal life and go, well, is there something there that I can just do to start? Because maybe I just can't bring myself to start something business wise, but I can bring myself to maybe, clean something in the house or, do something that I've been putting off. I like this from Norm, because I think this is a really good one too. And this is something that I like to do as well, which is like, whatever that big needle mover is, like you do that first thing, Norm says, look, I get all my prospecting done by 10:30. Because and I've said this before, I am a recess kind of guy. I love to goof off. So my thing is like, well, let's get all the hard stuff out of the way so we can just goof off. Like, let's just do it that way that I don't have to worry about it, So structuring your day that way, so that, well, look, I committed to making 25 to 50 calls today and I did them. So if I go and hang out with my daughter this afternoon, I'm good. I can feel good about what I did today, right? I can feel good about that I at least did that. And this all ties back to our guest that we're going to have on today, because, he's implementing and has been implementing for a long time, a strategy that we've been implementing for a long time. And he's kind of taking it to another level in terms of scale and all these different things. But it's probably a strategy everybody on this call has heard us talk about, and probably at some time or another thought, oh, that sounds good. Maybe you even bought the course with the software and all that stuff we had. And maybe you even started, but maybe you just got sidetracked, right? We've been doing the strategy pretty much every day in the agency for forever, for years, and he's been implementing it, and a lot of others too. And, you know, when you have that consistent, that implementation, you get results. So, you know, this could be a time to take a look at that stuff and be like, hey, like, what is the thing that I've just set aside because I got distracted? Like, okay, I'm not distracted anymore. Let's get back and get cranking on this, right?
Definitely.
I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Okay.
I mean,
All right, awesome. Well, look, let's. I want to do our shout outs, and then I want to get our guest out here. So, if you have questions and things, pop them in the chat. We're gonna get to questions. You can ask questions about anything. You know, local marketing related, just pop it in there and we'll do that. But first, let's do some shark shout outs. So I'm going to share my screen here.
I love everybody being transparent about their desk situation. Hey, everybody here, what does your desk look like? Put it in the chat. I'm curious. I want to see what everybody. I see Chris's desk is a disaster zone, which I know how you feel. And Dorn is. I'm a little surprised that he said his desk is clear. The rest of the office is controlled chaos. I feel like if I can imagine what Dorn's office looked like, it all looks like controlled chaos.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna do one more thing here before we start, because where is? Let me find this, because I snipped this out. Where is this notebook? Hold on.
Kristen,
please.
spent the morning cleaning and reorganizing. I love it.
Why do I not see my? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So, as you guys probably know, I had a we've done a couple podcasts, right? So we had What's the Secret, and then you know, recently we have the Remote Millionaires podcast, and on What's the Secret, I interviewed a Navy SEAL, and not just any Navy SEAL, but this guy like went through Hell Week 3 times, which is pretty freaking amazing, right? And one of the things that he told me was about this, right? Like, how do you get past this? And so I'm going to give you his 5 things for completing a really tough challenge, right? And some of these we talked about already, but I think this is good. So his number one thing is, he says when he gets in these situations, he goes back to his daily practice. I think that's really important, right? These things are a daily practice, not we just do them every once in a while. They're a daily practice. So number 1 is deep breathing. So he does yoga and he works on deep breathing, or he sits and he stretches. He does a technique called box breathing, where it's like a 4 count, you know, in, hold, out, hold. And then when he's like doing whatever it is he's doing, like a strenuous workout or whatever, he really pays attention to his breathing. The second thing is visualization, which we talked about. Think about your goal, all that stuff. Really picture yourself getting the thing. Number 3 is affirmations. So like you're doing something really hard, you'll just say, man, all good. Or if you're starting to get frustrated, one of the things he said is he'll like calmly say to himself, like, thank you, or, you know, like, I got that, like those types of things. Number 4 is movement. Just put one foot in front of the other towards your goal. You can think about your goal and deep breath to calm and energize your mind. But in the end, you have to take the first step to perform any action, right? Any action will do, as that's better than staying put where you're at and just thinking. I thought that was a big one. And then number 5 is clean fuel, right?
I thought you were going to say clean your desk.
no, clean fuel. But I know in other things he's talked about, like a lot of times in their, like they have a mental toughness training, and one of the first things they tell you to do is to clean your house. Because your area needs to be clean. You need to be organized, right? Clean your house. Same thing with your office. But, you know, he says, like, if you do these things, like, it gives you an unfair advantage. He says it's an almost unfair advantage to be able to know this stuff. He's like, so many people hear it, though, and they just go, and they don't do it, you know, or they only do 1 or 2 things. But if you really work at trying to do those 5 things, it'll help. So anyway, I got sidetracked there. Let me get back to this, our shout outs, and then we'll get our guest out here. I know he's chomping at the bit in the back. All right, here we go. All right, first up, Our first shout out, Omar. I'm not going to attempt to say the first name, Omar. Omar closed a client on reoccurring revenue for social media posting, $100 a month. That's awesome. Yeah. Raymond closed another deal, website logo and business card design, $1,200. He got a 50% payment received. Awesome stuff.
Excellent job.
Cody Weaver posted some wins. Upsold a current client with social media, $700 a month. Military surplus e-commerce website build, $2,600. Mo, I saw this in the RM channel. This was awesome. Mo scored his first recurring client for $297 a month.
Nice
That's
job,
awesome.
Mo.
He's been
busy.
Yeah, he's been working his rear end off over there. Mr. Andy Makar picked up a website project for an existing client, $2,200, plus added an additional Google business location at $495 per month. And then Nick Ponte, marketing, $10,000, got a deal over the line for a $5,000 custom website, plus $5,000 a month SEO social media package in the home improvement niche, plus a $5,000 website to an AC company. That's some solid stuff right there.
Pretty wild. And you know, Tom, we haven't even talked about it, but we're and we never celebrate, really. Tom and I never celebrate people. Our agency just had its first 100K month.
Nice.
Which is out of control,
awesome.
Right? 100K I don't even remember. 2 months ago at the beginning of the year, I think we were at the 60K mark when we first said, we're going to hit 7 figures this year. I mean, it would be pretty hard not to hit 7 figures at this point with what we're doing.
Yeah, that's good. By the way, that's 15,000. That graphic is wrong. It's 15,000 for your agency.
Yeah,
five.
I think what had happened there is I posted about the AC deal came in just yesterday. And so I just posted about this morning. Shashan was so awesome. She actually she updated the slide, I'm sure, and just put the website at the bottom.
That's great.
Thank you, Shashan. But yeah, pretty amazing. You know, one of the things that has been happening is like, we're needing more fulfillment. We are needing more web developers. We are needing more content managers. We're needing, we need more people to run ads. We need more people to do SEO. We can't keep up with the growth, which is crazy. I'm not complaining. It's a good place to be in. And it just goes to show what can happen if you put in the work to build a pool of prospects that you can regularly prospect to in your business. So if you're one of those people out there right now that is looking to get more customers, you might want to start building an audience or a list or a pool of people that you can start to warm up to. Because it's one thing to just do cold prospecting all the time. It works. It takes more elbow grease. But if you can make your cold prospecting not slip through the cracks and build and nurture those people to become warmer over time, then you're going to get more wins. And we see it in our agency all the time. And that's exactly what our trapdoor strategy is all about, which we're going to talk about in a little bit here.
Yeah, awesome. By the way, for those of you that are keeping track at home, that's a combined total of $26,497 for the week, February 25th through March 3rd. A grand total, $273,873 since the start of 2023. Our goal, if you remember, last year we did 1.6 million from you guys. You guys did 1.6 million in reported closed deals. We want to hit 3 million. So if you're out there taking action and closing deals, make sure you share them. And if you're not, get out there, take some action and close some deals.
Close them and come back and tell us about it.
Yeah. Close them. Awesome. And then let's do our member of the week, and then we will bring out our guest so we can spend some time talking to him. So every week we do a member of the week. We send them an Offline Shark swag treasure chest. Somebody who's a good steward of our group, who's always helping out, answering questions, posting wins, doing all that stuff. This week, member of the week is, let me show the screen here. So many more buttons to click now. Look at that, Mr. Andy Makar. Congratulations. Scoring new sales, sharing resources, and answering questions around the community. So excellent work, Andy. We really appreciate that.
Excellent job. Thank you.
Yep. Somebody from the team will be reaching out to to get your treasure chest set up there. So Andy is an amateur magician, and he also is, or I guess semi-pro is maybe the word, semi-pro. He does shows here and there, but his main profession is he's a project manager. I don't know if you knew that.
No. When are you gonna do another magic trick for us, Tom?
Ooh.
Maybe if we get enough hashtag magic tricks in the chat, Tom will give us a magic trick.
I haven't seen any good ones, but who knows? I'm working on. We'll see. I keep my eyes out. All right. That's so weird. I'm just having a deja vu moment there. Look at that. Wow, crazy. All right. So we're gonna bring out our guest. So as you know, not this past week, but the week before, we did a training called our Trapdoor Tactic. To bringing in leads and buyers. On there, we were talking about a strategy that we've been implementing for quite a while. And we have a course around it. It's called Agency Growth Machine. On the training, we go through that strategy. Obviously, like we have a software that allows us to implement it pretty quickly. You don't have to use our software though. Like if you watch that training, you'll see the idea behind it. We talk about all the stuff. Like you could go out, do it all yourself if you wanted to. Like you don't have to use the things we have. But I'll put a link if any of you, we have like kind of a shortened version of the training with all the really good parts in it that you can see. And I'll drop a link for that in a little bit so you guys can check it out. But our guest today has been crushing it with this strategy. In fact, he is international now. He's an international man of mystery. I think he has 22, right? 22.
Let's ask him.
Well, we'll ask him. We'll get him out here and we'll talk about what he's doing. But let's give a big, warm Offline Sharks welcome to Mr. Richie Cronin.
Hey.
What's up?
You made it.
After that build up, this better be good, Richie.
Look. I'm speechless.
It's been a long time coming.
That's taken a long time to make me speechless. But 25 in New Zealand, and I've set up my first 2 here in the United States as well, or AGM sites. And I think by the end of the year, we should have a similar number in both America, USA, and New Zealand as well. So wow. Yeah, pretty exciting.
That's crazy. So what's the strategy though? Because you have obviously a lot of success with it, but a lot of people, what I recommend they do is they come in and they build one. They build one and they just, because one will give you plenty enough to keep yourself busy. So what's the strategy here? What are you doing? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. And that's I think I certainly bit off more than I could chew. Back in February the 19th, 2020 was when I brought AGM, and I think the week before that I was on my first jam session, and found you guys and thought that's pretty cool, and then had a look at the product, and when I had my aha moment, which was a foot in the door strategy, and that's exactly what I needed. If I wanted to make my digital agency successful, I needed to have customers to be able to sell those products and services to. And the best way to get a customer is to, as AGM pointed out and you guys showed me, was give them something for nothing. It just creates interest. And that's exactly what AGM does, is it opens the door by giving something away. And something as simple as a free listing brings attention and focus from the person you're trying to do business with to the things you're trying to sell. So it was just, for me, it was a real aha moment, and it I knew it was going to be a big piece of the puzzle that I'd solved right there and then, and so I hopped into it, and I built one. My first one was actually a food delivery website called We Deliver NZ, and that was the first
it's a great
one
name.
Yeah, and look, I still own the domain name and all the other stuff, and I actually one stage thought I might as well sell it off to someone else that's going to use it, because I never wound up using it. I very quickly went to the whole buy local scenario and supporting local businesses, and I think that's the real advantage of AGM, is that by using it locally, you give yourself a lot of credibility with local businesses, and those are exactly the people you want to talk to. And the more local you make it, the less it's about being a directory, and the more it's about being that community resource. And I found at first I was like, you don't have to worry about community stuff, it doesn't matter, and I was wrong, because that's what people want to be a part of. They want to be a part of something that they think moves the needle or makes a difference to their local community. And the amount of support and interaction you get by it being community based, you can't lessen that in any way. It gives you even more of a conversation with local business owners, because they are the people that support. And we use our AGM sites in New Zealand very much say this, that small businesses are the backbone of our economy, and they're the people that hire people locally. They're the people that buy things locally as well. And I know there's a great sandwich board outside a cafe that when you support a small business locally, you're not buying products from there that you could buy from a big box store. You're paying for a little girl's dance lessons, or you're paying for someone to go and do something else. You're supporting your local economy, and that's something that we've really tagged with our AGM sites, is about being local and supporting local businesses. So, and that means you've got a great conversation starter with those local businesses as well.
Yeah, it's so true. I remember the defining moment where that really was cemented in my mind, and it was when we have a few AGM sites ourselves, right? Our first one was really like a coupon site, and we went hard on that. It was a general community type site with coupons for businesses in our area. We also did the restaurant thing, especially in COVID. That was really amazing. Like, we have a list of all of the restaurants on this island. Like, we have the whole list. We have everybody. We can monetize it. We can send out offers. We can do blasts and charge other restaurants for money. It's pretty awesome asset to have built. And then we have Hawaii Thrive, and we have some other ones, but Hawaii Thrive is kind of our main one right now, which is general community based. Hawaii Thrive, right? So it's our community, our state thriving. The first time I noticed how powerful this really was when I saw somebody else, another business owner out there that I didn't know them. They had the Hawaii Thrive logo in their email signature as like a badge of honor. Like, I'm part of the Hawaii Thrive initiative. And I was like, holy crap, this is real. Like, that's the power of branding. That's amazing. And it's true. People do want to be a part of it. That's what allows you, if you come in from that angle, it's a sneaky way to get your foot in, have these conversations where, most people, and Tom and I included, when we were doing prospecting in the beginning, in the early days of our agency, it was all about trying to reach out and be like, hey, what's going on with your business? Or this is what I have to sell you. And that was just an uphill battle. Some of you might be relating to that, trying to do some sort of prospecting where you're just focusing on the marketing. But like Richie said, when you come in and you give something away of high perceived value for free, then you have a whole different conversation on your hands. So, yeah. So, Richie, what's your favorite industry? Out of all the sites that you have, what is your favorite niche or type of site? Is it the buy local one that you have?
Yeah, that's what we've used, and so I don't focus on a particular niche. I'm about local businesses. So the one thing I've always done is that I've stayed away from those big box or multinational companies. Typically, what I call a managed organization is someone that we just don't include them on our directories. We try and make sure that we're not messaging them or reaching out to them, because we don't want them in there. I don't want the conglomerate supermarket chain to be all over these things, because that's not actually the fiber of being local and supporting local businesses. So and also they're businesses that we're not realistically going to get the chance to work with. They work with national agencies and things, and I think in years to come maybe we're on that level, but it's certainly not what we're focused on now. So to exclude them kind of gives us our own credibility locally as well, is that we don't support multinational or big business. We support true mum and dad, bricks and mortar local businesses, because they are our customers. They're the people that spend money with us.
Mm-hmm. And I remember at one point you had, and I don't know what the numbers are now, but like you were one of the people that have monetized the premium listings at one point. You sold a lot of, you went from free to premium. How many premium listings have you sold? I think last time I saw it was like 30 or something like that.
No, we would do 20 or 30 on a campaign.
Wow.
So I don't know what the number is. I think it's probably closer to probably 500 across the whole lot of them.
Well, and maybe you can tell people what your pricing strategy was there, because I know it's a little different from the way we do it. Like we typically do it $247 for the year, but what was your pricing strategy on the premiums?
$99, but if you take it as part of our onboarding process, it's $49, and that's for 13 months. So but then I changed the things that you get for buying a premium listing. I stopped referring to listings as listings. I refer to them as profiles, or in our emails we sort of talk very casually, and we call them spots. A free spot on X, on the name of the directory, because we don't use the word directory, we don't use the word listing, mainly because Google are resistant to directories and things called listings. So
there's so many people using that. There's so many people using that too. Yeah.
So we referred to it on some as a featured business partner, others a featured profile, but it's generally we sort of sell it as hey, we will put you on the front and center of Tauranga Buy Local or Auckland Buy Local. And it's $49. It's normally $99 for you. It's $49. Just reply back yes, and we'll take care of it. Plus, we'll give you $500 worth of stuff if you take us up on it. And $500 is what the value I put on it. But we make a video for them, and that's something that we've always done from the start. We've made a small promotional video for our premium listings, and we just take their brand, put it into something. We've used a number of different systems, Vimeo. I forget the one we did a whole heap on. We did review videos for a while. We'd make a review video for you, but we kind of found that they just were like a bit cringy, and they just didn't really resonate that well with everyone. So we changed it to being a short promo video, and now we've kind of in the last couple of months we've really revisited all of those bonus items, or the featured upgrade, and the more we keep it to what's already there, the easier it is to fulfill. But we do instead of making a slideshow and a video, we make a video slideshow now. And so this week I've been working on upgrading that process as well. That our future use is basically hosting everything in YouTube through our YouTube channel, and then working with businesses to make sure that they've got that video loaded in their Google profile as well, their GBP, and that way it's the whole idea and the premise that we put behind it is increasing your online presence so that your business is more likely to get found locally, and that's the gift that we sell.
Yeah. And how long do they have that listing for at that price? 99 or 49 if they're onboarded?
Yeah, so if we loaded you up this week, we would run it through to the end of March next year. So we'd do 13 months. And then obviously in January, February, we're going to be triggering an email that says, hey, we're coming up for renewal. And that, but the idea when you renew, and you've got to be Johnny on the spot here, and I've been a little bit lax at times with these things, but when you get people to renew, you want to get back to them and say, renew for $49 or even $39. Often you're better to come down in price than go up, because we're wanting the interaction. We're not using premium listings. We're not using them to make money. They're not
a major source of income, right?
Pays for our contractors to service the whole deal. We're not looking to make income out of it. What we're looking to do is work with that business and gain access to their website and to their profiles and those things, so that we can then offer them a reoccurring revenue service. And that's the beauty of AGM, is this foot in the door strategy creates a conversation with people who don't understand what all this stuff means. They've got a business to run, and you're coming in as their knight in shining armor, saying, "Hey, we can take care of this for you." I think the biggest problem in starting is that you're going to work your way through, and you just got to go through this. You're going to work your way through a whole heap of people that they want everything for nothing, and you're their friends, so therefore help us out with this, help us out with that. But they're not actually customers. And when you put it in front of them to become a customer, they're like, "Oh no, that's not what I meant," because they just want you to come in and fix it for free, So you got to weed those ones out pretty quick. And the best thing to do there is don't write proposals for people and all that kind of stuff in that send them an email outlining what you're offering, and then leave it at that, and come back to them 3 months later if you've heard nothing, or just ignore them, because you're never going to make money out of them anyway.
But that's at every level, whether you're running ads, whether you're inbound traffic from organic SEO, you're doing manual outreach, you're doing cold email, you're going to get people that are much better, higher value, higher quality people. You're going to get middle, you're going to get lower. And so, in the beginning, it doesn't really matter. You'll take anybody. But as you gain more stability in your business, you go from making $0 per month to $5K per month to $10K per month. Then you can start to be a little more picky and choosy about who you bring in. You can start to think about how to qualify people a little more. What a great place to be, to say, like, I don't want to work with new business owners. I want to work with people that have some traction. So I know that I can work with somebody that's not trying to get everything for free and has a little bit of a budget. The thing that I like about what you're doing, Richie, is that, AGM, like we have it worked out. We use it, in a number of ways, but it's such an awesome system because within our community, we have tons of people using AGM, and they have taken what we have done and built out a specific use case for themselves, a specific strategy. You change the pricing, you change the messaging, you change the angle. This morning I saw Cameron shared a.
Do you want to see a couple, Nick? I pulled a couple up. You want me to show a couple real quick?
Yeah, pull a couple up. That landscaping one, I don't know, and I'm always blown away because sometimes we'll see a site and I'll be like, whose is this? I have no idea whose it is, but it looks freaking amazing, and I bet they're getting clients out of it.
Check this out. So these are some general business ones, right? Here's one that's in Lakewood Ranch Guide, Florida. Look at that.
Oh,
got the weather on there.
Oh, nice. I like what you did there.
Pretty nifty, right?
Yeah. Wait, so hold on. Go. Can you go back or scroll down on this one? So this is our theme that we have, everybody. At the top of the page, he has a slideshow set up. Some of our other members will use a map, and on the map you can see all the pins and listings on there. And if you scroll down a little bit,
that's literally built in. You just add an image, and it does that automatically. There's nothing to it. Yeah.
Yep. And then if you scroll down, you have this area where there are featured listings. Those are the premium listings that Richie was talking about. Those are guys that, businesses you might give higher visibility for and make them at the top of your site. The people below are new listings that we might be prospecting to and looking to upgrade to premium listings. But either way, anybody that has a listing or doesn't have a listing is somebody that you will now have something to talk about with, where normally you don't have anything to talk about. You're trying to come in and start a conversation with no middle ground. These listings, and one of the things that we've been testing is saying, instead of listings, Richie says spots, we just call it an advertisement. We've given you a free advertisement on our site. Everybody wants free advertising. How do you say no to free advertising? You don't, you take it. So we've given you a free advertisement on our site. And, what a great way to get some middle ground, build some reciprocity, and have a conversation.
Yeah, this is one in Indiana. So Indiana, Pennsylvania, right? And you can see they've got a little more built out stuff in here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Looking good. Here's one overseas. So this is in the UK. I really like the way so this is just the slider, right? So I really like the way they did this. It gives it a real local feel, right? I'm sure that that's this Gloucester Road. I mean, this one looks really good. And then here's some, I'll do one more general one. So here's one in Oregon, right? Local support network. Look at this. Advertising. So you can also, you have space where you can put businesses, right? Like this is valuable space on the homepage.
That person's probably paying them to be there, right? That's a top ad spot on their
probably.
site.
And then, you were talking about kind of like niching down, right? Like here's one around real estate agents. So this is Jocelyn and Randy, I think. And they have done a lot of customization to this, right? Like this is a thing that they've inserted here that shows different real estate listings, but they've really spent a lot of time building this thing out, right? But only focused on real estate agents.
Wow.
I love their logo. All this stuff looks great.
Mm-hmm. Looks really good.
I think this is the landscaping one you were talking about, right?
Oh, is it landscape or chain fence?
They built around Chain Link Fence Pros. So fence contractors, landscapers, architects.
Okay, yeah.
Like all in this industry, right? Obviously, awesome picture, right? Awesome picture. And then all of these businesses are in this space.
Look at that.
Look at all this stuff.
Cameron says several of these sites belong to Jocelyn.
Yeah, this is a great one.
I'm pretty sure that chain link fence one belongs to Jocelyn.
Oh, nice.
Could be. Yeah. And then I love this one because this one is the first medical marijuana directory site in Arizona, and this is the one where why is his name escaping me? Shannon. Shannon was just like crushing this thing with the premium listings. Like these premium listings, he sells like crazy in this space. So, those are just some examples of different things. So,
yeah. Hey, Richie, one thing that you touched on that I wanted to talk about a little bit is you mentioned, the listings pay for your contractors. So it sounds like you've built somewhat of a team behind you to help with some of this stuff. Can you talk about some of those roles that you have helping you?
Yeah, so we when we set up a site, we use the API, the plugin for finding businesses locally, so that we've got a base to work off when you put the site live. Then after that, what we do is we do our prospecting via a data scrape, a different tool. Lead Kahuna is the one that we use. It's our preferred choice. And we go and research a list of businesses by using a number of keyword searches, and we'll do 20 different searches for an area, and we put together a list of businesses that all come up in that area for that directory, and then what we do what's called cleaning the list. So we go through and we take out the things that we don't want, like charities and things that just don't, they're not the businesses that we're after for it. And we also wind up with any data scrape, you'll wind up with missing information. And a lot of the time, because we're scraping from websites, we don't get an email contact. It doesn't come through. So then I send that list to one of our contracting team, one of our VAs, and she then sits down and just goes through over a weekend. We'll go through and look up the businesses that then, their website and the other details we've got, and see if you can find an email address for them. So nice. We can typically sometimes add sort of 10 to 40% even of additional email addresses to complete that list. Then we clean it one more time, and then we put it into our CRM, which is Go High Level, and we send out a cold email sequence. So we've tuned that email sequence to that specific location, and that creates the offer of, would you like a free spot on such and such a buy local in your town? It's a community resource that does this, that, and the other. We promote all the things that it does, and we get a fairly solid hit rate. If we send out to 2,000 emails, which would be fairly standard, we just did one this morning. I think it was 3,700. So that goes out on Monday, and so we then would typically pick up about a 10%, acceptance of free listings. Sometimes it's 12 or 14, sometimes it's 8 or 9, but it's about 10%. And then those ones we then offer the premium, the upgrade, and the other things that we're going to do for them as well. And then we've got another function we've now built into it where we actually go back to everyone, and then we go back to the specifically what I call the warm leads, because once they've taken a free listing, they're no longer a cold lead. They're we've had an email conversation with them, potentially we've had a phone call with them already as well. But they basically, as I said earlier, it's out of the fridge and into the oven, because once you've got someone interacting with you, you can then show them your wares and sell them those other services.
Okay,
so
nice.
There's a number of people in the team, to answer your question, there's a number of people in the team who do different things. One is create those lists, two is clean them and set them up for the mail out. And when someone comes back for a free listing, we have one of our BAs who just makes those listings and makes the premium item products as well and fulfills the needs of that customer. But I do all the invoicing.
Nice. Smart
Control
man.
the money. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. That's a good point. So the majority of your prospecting right now is being done through cold email. Is that right?
Yeah. Pretty much 100% of it. We use cold email, but then our real prospecting comes from warm contacts.
Right.
So,
like after you send the emails, the people that open, the people that click, the people that actually want the listing, those are the people then you start to target with.
They're the ones that we're on the phone. We're even now we're making a custom Loom video for ones that we've identified as being hot prospects. We make a specific video of 1 minute to 2 minutes for them, and then send that to them. And we're really diving deep into what their online problems are, and we're offering the solution. And the testing that we've done with that thus far, and the limited actions we've had on it in the last month, it's very encouraging. It's certainly taken us away from. We're no longer looking to target website builds and those things. We'll still do them; they come our way. But we are very much all about high revenue, reoccurring services, and that's exactly what we use this for. Nice.
I love it, man. That's awesome. You know what else I like? That you're following the directions, you're following the instructions, you're following the system, and you're getting traction, you're making progress, and based off of the information, the traction, the progress you make, then you make adjustments. A lot of people get caught up they get in and they're like, I'm going to do it this way, which is like way off into the weeds, way deep into the bushes. And, that isn't what is recommended. What is recommended is you start with what we recommend, because we've been doing this for a long time, and anybody that you talk to that's been doing this has some variation of the framework that we give them, and then they've built onto it. So
yeah, and I think that's as I say, February the 19th, 2020. It's over 3 years ago now, and I spent too much time trying to tweak things and make them better when they never needed to be made better. They already worked. So I really encourage everyone to hop into it, follow the process. Certainly, building your first AGM site yourself is a really good place to start if you've never built a website before. It's easy to follow, it's easy to understand. It teaches you a huge amount, and if you're going to go on and then hire web devs and those things, that what you're talking about. So I think if you're at that starting point, or you're in that sort of bracket, certainly focus on building your first one yourself and really get into the different elements of it, because it'll give you a great understanding.
That's a really good point. So a couple of things here, everybody. Number one, what Richie said is a great idea. Build your first AGM site. If you've never built a website, that's a great way to get started. It's a very easy website to build. There's step-by-step videos that show you how to do it. But we actually link in below this stream right here, offlinesharks.com/demo. We made a special offer on our training the other day that if you pick up the AGM package, our team will set up your first one for you. Still recommend you go create another one, but or you can create your first one, then have us set up your second one if you get that bonus offer on the call. And so that is available to you if you don't want to set it up, but it's a good idea to do it just for the education purposes. Tom Plenner asked if he could see a video that Richie sends. This is another thing that I wanted to mention too, because we have another bonus on that call that we offered, which is where we have a reactivation pack, right? Where we're going to invite Richie to help do a little training on what we're doing, what he's doing. And so if you want to talk about the Loom videos and things like that, obviously you join AGM right now. If you go to the link, pick it up, you're going to be a part of that reactivation pack and that training where, maybe Richie can, show you one of his videos, or we can break it down live, or people can have a Q&A around the videos, or it's going to be an interactive training. And how many weeks is that going to be, Tom?
It's 4 weeks. It starts on March 14th. So if you're a new AGM member, you'll automatically get access to that when you join. If you're an existing AGM member and you just want to be part of the activation, it's Dorn and Richie, then there is a reactivation pack there. You can just buy that separately. Like, you don't have to rebuy AGM. You can just grab the activation pack and go from there.
Yeah. And so both of those options will be on the page at the link below the screen. Also in AGM, you will have access to our team's Loom videos, right? We've had people on our team, not Tom and I, but Tom and I as well, but people on our team primarily sending those targeted Loom videos to our list of people that we put in our AGM sites too. So not only do you already have all of our stuff, but you're also going to get other people that are doing this, right? Because if not just one group of people that are successful with this, there are a lot of people that are successful with this. And so we have that information to share with you too. So yeah, I'm sure Richie will share some of those Loom videos as well.
Absolutely. And same with the cold email sequence. You guys got some great stuff that's already in there. I always said it depends on where you are and what you're doing, and you've got to kind of tune, especially a cold email sequence. You've got to tune it to your local audience. And so I've got a lot of stuff around how we do that, and we did it over a couple of years before we really dialed it into it. It works really well. A 10% return rate from cold email is, double digit. It's astronomical. 1-2% would be the expectation. So to achieve 10%, what we're doing really does work. And
you get 10%.
Yeah, well, for free listings, we get a 10% hit rate.
Damn.
So 2,500 emails go out, we get 250 free listings. So, wow. And we have done some preparation in there, if you like. We've cleaned that list more than once. We've gone through and identified the weak points. But you know what? We're getting a 10% return rate on that. And then we're typically getting that's anywhere between, sort of 1 and 8-9% for upgrades, premium listings. Depends on where we go and if it strikes a chord. We've done some of the smaller directories that we haven't done some work on for a while now. We've been focusing on the big ones. But, you go to a small location that doesn't really get a lot of love from anyone. And the reaction, I remember, I think we had like 30 premium listings in a week. And wow. And I didn't know how to deal with it. I was like, how are we going to fulfill this? It was crazy. And that all come from the very top of New Zealand, a very small place, but they just loved it. And I had people on the phone saying, what else do you do? How can you do this? And right. The customers just come out of the woodwork. So if you tune it locally, it really works. And as I say, you can keep on just putting the steps in place, and it will. This AGM is the prospecting funnel for any agency that wants to grow. It will just keep on giving you warm leads that you can keep converting to high ticket and high value.
Yeah, I completely agree. We've said it before. I've said it this morning. We'll say it again. It's if you need a pool of customers, if you're somebody that needs more clients, you need a pool of customers. And this is the easiest way to get a pool of customers and definitely over time warm them up into becoming a paying customer. And, sometimes that happens very quickly, and over time it will definitely happen as long as you continue to nurture those people. So yeah, that's awesome stuff, Richie. If you guys are liking what we're saying, if you want to learn more about this strategy, you should definitely go to offlinesharks.com/demo. We brought the training back because of you, because of popular demand. It's funny because sometimes, I'm sure people read this email that we sent out, but sometimes people say, you guys send a lot of emails. And then other times people say, we didn't get your email. Will you open it back up? I missed a special offer. So we brought it back for a limited time. Check it out right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And again, if you're an existing AGM member and you just want to be a part of the live 4-week training that Richie and Dorn are going to be doing on this strategy, just go to that link. You'll find it on the page there. You can just get that part. And if you're new, you can just jump in. So awesome.
Let's answer this question, then we'll do our final thing and get out of here. So
yes, I think this is a great. Are you going to do this one? Because I think this is a great question.
Yep. So question for Richie, looking back at the last 3 years of doing this, what things would you do differently?
two things, or there's lots I'd do differently. One, I thought, gosh, I can go really big with this. I sort of looked at it in New Zealand and went, why do one? Why not do one for every town and city in New Zealand? And so and that's why we wound up with 25 of them. 24, and we've got a master directory. So that actually has they're all the featured listings that are on it. The featured profiles are actually all the other directories. So but that's still a work in progress, and we've never really utilized that the way we should. So if I was going to change what I would do, one, I would have started with one, focused on it, seen it right the way through, really cut my teeth with it, and then gone into expansion, rather than trying to expand before we were crawling. We weren't we weren't really up to a walk yet, and we went too big too soon. It ultimately slowed us down because we found some problems that hadn't been come across before. Like we had our APIs stolen by spam bots.
Oh, I remember that.
It cost me $5,000 US. It was a very expensive thing to learn. And then I even spent even more money on that, so that I actually paid another agency to do the coding, if you like, and the credential restrictions and all those things for my API keys, so that I can never get charged a bill for my API keys. But the recommendations are all there now. Certainly, that's something that Dawn and I are going to talk more to in the trainings coming up, is not only how to lock them down, but how to make sure that you can never ever get a bill for plugging in API keys. So there's lots of good things there. But that's what I would do. I would have just slowed it down a little bit and really got one humming, and then worried about expansion, because you only need one doing well to get a flow of customers. You don't need 25 of them. You need one that does the job. So focus on that.
Man, I'm so happy to hear you say that, because I've been telling you that for so long. but I mean, here's the thing. You said it at the beginning. Start with the local. Start with your area. Wherever you're at, start in your area. If you're in a big city, then do somewhere that's smaller outside of the big city that you're near. And, you can grow out from there. You're going to have way more than you can deal with. If you have a list of 500 people, you should contact 500 people. Contact all of them before you move on to the next 500 or 3,000, or you start building your next site. You need to actually do well with what you have to get traction. Don't get caught up in trying to just add listings into your site because it looks cool. Each one of those listings should have some follow-up, and that is what will turn into a paying customer. So start with the local stuff. That's what I recommend as well. And obviously Richie too. Well,
I think the other just to quickly touch on the second one, the two things. So it was keep it local, keep it small, keep it controlled. And the other one that I think you can't, I put a bit of emphasis on it now, is make it look pretty. Don't just sort of chuck it out there and let it be generic like what everyone else does. Make it look, put some effort into making it look good, because that will pay dividends that you can't buy. And when people come along and see it, go, wow, look at this, for our wee town, you've got to be joking, and it impresses people, and you start impressing people, they're gonna contact you, they're gonna want what you do. So make it look pretty.
That's a good point.
Awesome, man. That's great stuff.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, Richie. We really appreciate having you here and sharing your insights and story.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. I look forward to the training. The 4 weeks of training is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for coming and doing that for sure. All right, Nick, we have one more thing to do.
Let's do it
before we get out of here. And that is,
here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money. Dollar.
Cheating, bling, bling, got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
No matter. Talking no matter, Nick. No matter.
I'm reading the names here, and we got some good winners here. So, at the beginning of the stream, we do our shout outs. And at the end of the stream, those of you that go to that post where our shout outs are in our Facebook group and you congratulate those shout out people, we will pick one of you in the comments at random and give you some Cash App money. So the winners today that congratulated our shout out people are Michael Marquez and Randy Bett. Congratulations. We'll be sending you Cash App money. Two solid members of our community.
That's right. 2 solid members right there. Awesome. Yeah. And if you haven't already, head over to offlinesharks.com/demo. Check out the training, the AGM stuff, all that. Again, would love to see you on the live trainings if you're a current AGM member. And if you're new, start taking some action, get that site set up, and then share it in the group so we can check it out. Love to see AGM sites in there. Love to see them. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. All right, everybody. Well, thanks again for hanging out with us. We'll be back next Friday, same shark time, same shark channel for a new Aloha Friday Marketing Jam session. Until then, stay safe out there, practice Aloha, and we will see you next week. Wrong one.
You've been watching the Aloha Marketing Jam session, your weekly marketing live show, always bringing you the latest strategies and tactics to build your remote empire from anywhere in the world. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. You can stay up to date throughout the week with the Remote Millionaires podcast at remotemillionaires.com/podcast and Nick's YouTube videos at nickponte.com/YouTube. We'll be back here next Friday for another live show. Until then, aloha.